Welcome back to Legacy of Leaders on Buzz TV. I'm your host, Mike White, and joining us today, we have a special guest, and we're just going to talk about nothing. Welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Mike.
Nice, Tanya Damanti. How are you?
Tanya, you are Italian.
Yep.
We were talking prior to the interview.
Yeah.
And today, we just want to focus on a topic that you're going to randomly throw out.
Yep.
And we're going to have fun discussing it. So what's a good topic to talk about today?
Well, being that I am Italian and I've actually lived in Italy and the UK most recently, I think it would be fun to discuss consumerism and how it differs between the EU and the US and like what makes the consumers tick in both regions.
All right. So great conversation, great topic. So, all right, based upon consumers in the US, we spend money without having the money.
That's right. We are obsessed, I feel. That we're an obsessed culture and also impulsive culture.
So credit card debt, is that a U.S. thing or is that a European thing as well?
You know, I will say, I think there is an obsession with American culture as much as considered, like compared to the old country, like the European country. I hate to use the word trash, but it's a little trashier in general. Like we're just more eccentric in everything we do and more sort of upfront and forward and in your face, right? So I think credit card debt traditionally is an American problem more so, but I think in Europe, like now the credit card thing is becoming more and more common, at least in Italy. In recent years, it wasn't for the longest time. So you're starting to see more of a trend, but still not like America. Like you don't really hear commonly that Italians will, indebt themselves to the point of losing their houses, so to speak. That's more of an American thing.
My wife grew up in Poland, and if you didn't have the money,
that's right.
You didn't buy it.
That's right.
And so, with our marriage and growing our kids, my wife is more of the saver, and I am the compulsive. If I want something,
that's the American in you.
And it's combining that together. So,
that's correct.
So you came over, tell me your background.
Yep.
You came from Italy. When did you move here?
So I was born in the U.S., in California to be exact, because California seems to have a similar climate to Sicily. That's where I'm from, in Italy. Then I moved to Sicily, the typical immigrant mentality, the whole family's there. So I actually grew up in Sicily first, and then at 13, I came back to the U.S. And at that point, my dad wanted to move to New York for the unions. He was a union worker. So yeah, we kind of planned our roots in New York City. And back then, Italians were rampant in New York. I mean, they still are, obviously, but most certainly in the 70s and 80s and 90s. So yes, then I, did my, elementary to junior high school, I did it in Sicily. And then high school and college, I did it in New York. And I started my career there as well.
All right. So as a consumer, if you are ordering Italian food, is it gnocchi or gnocchi?
Gnocchi.
Gnocchi.
Gnocchi. Gian is pronounced gna. Yes,
right.
Gnocchi. Mm-hmm.
And limoncello, does anybody like it outside of in Italy?
Well, you know what? Actually, in New York, for instance, we have limoncello martinis, limoncello sorbet. I mean, it's a big thing because it helps you digest. It's actually really healthy, believe it or not, although it is a liqueur, but it is healthy. It's a digestive. So yeah, it's very popular. I guess anywhere that the Italian culture is well known, you will find it.
And what about gelato?
Gelato, I mean, gelato is amazing. It differs in, I believe it's just number one, Italian food is like an art, right? I mean, you were discussing that earlier. So Italians put a lot of love and passion and pride into everything they create. Gelato is just amazing,
it's
isn't it?
Nine on every street corner. It seems
correct.
like everywhere you go. I think my daughter got 14 in one day and
That's
kept
right.
in. So.
It's part of the culture. I mean, gelato, pizza, right? When you think about Italy, those are pasta, Parmesan cheese, right? So yeah, it's just part of the culture. It's embedded. I mean, I always tell people, if you go, you must try it, and then you will see the difference. And then pizza here is just completely different from what pizza is there, right? We like it doughier. We have doughy pizza there, which called spingiana, but in general, when you think of pizza in Italy, it's usually the cold type, the thin crust, the crispier type. Yeah, not as doughy, but it's amazing, isn't it? Have you tried it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, closing thoughts.
You know
We
what?
start with consumerism.
Yeah, well, I will say in general, right? If we'd have to differentiate the two cultures, European are much more sophisticated in that they're more educated. So when they buy something, they're less impulsive overall. They tend to study their purchase and they want the best of the best. That's why when you go to Italy, everybody looks like $1 million, right? You're like, oh my God, they look like runway models, because they really do care about the way they present themselves and the quality of the products that they wear. Versus in the US, I think we're a little bit more, marketing works because we're a little bit more impulsive. It works getting into the psyche of the consumer. A lot of times we don't investigate. We don't know what's in the products, what's in the labels, what's the quality of it. And lastly, in the EU, when you buy, if you want to break into their market, say with the beauty products, they ban like 1,400 ingredients, versus in the US, we only ban like 30. Mm-hmm. So there is a difference in the quality of the product. Obviously, it's easier to fulfill a nation of 60 million, like say the Italy or the UK, versus 360 million. But we're trying to bridge the gap. We're not quite there yet. However, European quality is just supreme in food, in products. The European government really seals the deal on everything that gets put out into the market, which is a guarantee.
That is amazing. Thank you for coming on
Thank
today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
To find out more about this conversation and more, visit us at dailynewsnetwork.com. We'll see you next time on Legacy of Leaders.
Bye-bye.